What?
Are you in the basement?
Yes, what?
Okay, just asking.
I'm streaming.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna shut this door.
Okay. Damn it. I guess I don't know. There we go. I think I have two mic sources working. Yep, I had both mics on. That's why it was funny. Sorry for that. So hello and welcome to Thursday. Hope everybody's doing well. No, I didn't realize it before. I apologize. So I had a meeting before this, so I had a separate setup hooked up, and they were both hooked up at the same time. All right. So today is sports and weekend. A couple of things that I wanted to do is I'm going to utilize the Discord channels and attempt to, and it was talked about a couple times, I want to do like I think I'm going to call it Sunday Gun Day, and have people send in different firearms, and we'll talk about guns and all that fun stuff. So, nope, that's the wrong window. So that will be something that we'll do in the future. Also, I want to do kind of a Q&A after we get more subscribers, and just kind of get you guys to learn a little bit more about me and who I am, what I do. So, let's take the YouTube chat away. Okay. So, and the sports focus, I'm going to focus a little bit more regionally on things that happen around here, because that's what I know, and that's what we'll try and hit and talk about. To start, we had a pretty interesting couple days of basketball with my Michigan State Spartans, my alma mater. We finally won the other night, so we actually played a game on an aircraft carrier docked in San Diego, Really cool. They put a court on an aircraft carrier and actually play a game. Michigan State came up short by 1 point, losing to number 2 in the nation, Gonzaga. And we followed that up by beating number 4 Kentucky 2 nights ago. So, very exciting times. This weekend, there are a bunch of different games and things going on, such as the Gavitt tip-off games. That's always fun to watch. There's several other tournaments that pin some really good teams against each other. So if you are a college basketball fan, that is definitely something to take in. You have the Hoosier Tip-Off Classic, just several different early season tournaments. The Maui Invitational starting on Monday. So plenty of college basketball if that's your thing. I like my Spartans. I think that although we don't have a superstar, that we may indeed have a pretty good showing this year. We shoot well. We've played really good defense, and being unranked, we've taken it to the wire with Gonzaga, the number 2 team in the country, and like I said, beat Kentucky in double overtime, which was a thrilling game in the Champions Classic. I think we have a lot to look forward to. Izzo always schedules really tough games to begin the year, so nothing uncommon. It'll be fun to watch, and I'm excited for our opportunity. The big consternation is where we'll be in the rankings. I think that it will all be dependent on the Auburn game. If we beat Auburn, I think that we'll be in that 13-15 range. As it is now, I think we're in the 21 spot. So that will be something that comes out on Sunday. Every Sunday, the rankings come out. So let's move over to the NFL. My Detroit Lions pulled out a win against the Chicago Bears. If anybody knows the lore of Detroit, we always get the Thanksgiving game, which is coming up a week from this Thursday. So the Lions will play the Giants on Sunday. And then they will go the following week, and they will play on Thanksgiving Day, a nationally televised game that everybody watches. So they're playing the Bills, so they have no shot in hell. So it will be another disgusting beatdown that the Lions take on Thanksgiving. The other traditional game is the Cowboys. Should be a really good matchup with the Giants. And then, as of the last couple of years, they added a Thursday night game to the traditional Cowboys and Lions games, and that will be the Pats and the Vikings. So that should be a fun one to watch as well. So hopefully, if you're an NFL fan, there's plenty of good games coming up, and the playoff picture is really starting to shape out. And we have teams like the Vikings. We have the Bills. I can bring up the standings here. So the teams are starting to separate. We're in that 10th week, 11th week. So you're starting to see division leaders come out and the rest of the pack kind of fall behind. Here's my Lions at 3-6. So the Eagles lost a game this weekend, and there was a lot of controversy around that as well. All right. For the international crowd. The aircraft carrier. Sorry, I just saw that. The aircraft carrier it's called the Carrier Classic, and they did it one time 11 years ago. Michigan State also played, I believe it was North Carolina, UNC. They hated it. The wind affected the game considerably, and really nobody enjoyed it. So they scrapped it, and for whatever reason brought it back this year. And Michigan State was invited to play again. I think it went better this time. I think they mitigated for some wind. But yeah, just really cool. And you see how big the US's carriers are when you look at it, and you fit a whole basketball court, and you fit the entire crowd and all that stuff. Oops, I'm trying to move this window. There we go. You see the entire crowd and everything, and it just takes up a little portion of the deck of the aircraft carrier. So those things are huge and really cool. So I think it's neat. It's played for Veterans Day here in the United States, so it's to honor the veterans and their service to the country. And several, for example, they had 2 members of the Navy call the game for a little bit. So they did commentary for the game for about 10 minutes and different things. With the commander of the ship, had an interview and was right there. So it was pretty neat. I may get in trouble. Well, you can send photos and I will absolutely not attribute them back to you. Use your burner account. So, and cover up the serial numbers. So, yeah, I know it's come up in a couple chats, and I'm not afraid of doing it here on YouTube. So, just one of those things. We'll talk guns. Guns are fun. So back to the international crowd here. I am not a soccer fan. I say that I coach youth soccer. I've been coaching youth soccer for probably 5 or 6 years now. And I enjoy it. I truly do. But as far as watching soccer, not my gig. But the FIFA World Cup starts coming up here this weekend, and then on Monday you really get some games underway. Of course, national pride, go USA, but I have zero clue who is good and who is going to be able to pull one out. I have no. I mean, I guess I could look at the the Vegas books and get some idea, but yeah, soccer is not my thing. I will not be watching, but I understand the popularity of it worldwide. So, thought I'd cover that. I think it's in Qatar this year. So. All right, so college football, we're coming down to that awesome part of the year where we get some of the really good games coming up. This weekend is kind of a letdown. Everybody has really a cupcake to get ready for the last week. Yeah, England. Yeah. Well, they probably take it serious. The differences between European countries and the United States is the United States, many of us don't even know what's going on. If I wasn't a general sports fan, I don't think I'd have any idea whatsoever. We just don't do soccer. It's just not popular here. With that being said, if I was ever gonna do it, I would go to a game in Europe because I hear they get pretty crazy. So might be fun to watch just for the crowd participation. But so yeah, we have a lot of boring games. This is not the weekend to watch college football. However, looking ahead to the following week, we have some hardcore matchups. We have Cincinnati and Tulane, ranked teams, UNC, NC State. And then we get into the Iron Bowl. We get into, Oregon State rivalry. Why is it not listed here? Oh, because that's a Saturday game. Okay. And you have a lot of the in-state rivals. So you have Georgia Tech versus Georgia, and the game, Ohio State versus Michigan. Go Bucks. Just because I hate Michigan. So that's, you have the classic. This one's going to be a good one. That's Notre Dame, USC, Tennessee, Vandy. So generally on the last weekend, it's some kind of rivalry game that's either in-state or close to in-state. And there will be a lot of things on the line as far as playoffs and playoff considerations. So my Spartans will have almost nothing to play for except for my bet of 7.5. I took the over, and it's going to be a close one. They'll have to beat Penn State on the road. They have to win this weekend, and then they'll have to win their bowl game. So, but it's not over yet. Still hope. I did this one already. So we'll go into rankings and where I disagree with these. So if you're not familiar with college football, the big thing is the playoff rankings. They come out towards the end of the year. And currently in college football, there are 4 playoff teams. So your 4 playoff teams are going to be the teams that will compete for the national championship. So there is consensus that University of Georgia will be in. They have a couple tough games and then the SEC championship. But the way Georgia's played all year, they will roll. Probably. Then you have Ohio State. Ohio State has a tough one against Michigan. They also have the Big Ten championship, which should be pretty easy. I think it could be Minnesota, so they'll run all over them. So, in my opinion, Georgia and Ohio State are a lock. So, unless something goes crazy. I think Michigan will lose next Saturday, and that will knock them out of contention because they won't be a Big Ten champion, and they will have 1 loss. I think TCU has a pretty good path. The Big 12 is really weak, so I moved them into my 3rd lock. And I'm trying to be unbiased because I really hate University of Michigan, like, bad. But I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible. So, but I think if they lose to Ohio State, they don't get into the Big Ten championship game. They probably should not be in the playoff. And then that brings us to the list of teams down here. The Tennessee, the LSU, Alabama, USC, Clemson. I think all of those are fighting for that last spot. Now, Tennessee won't be a conference championship, but their only loss will have been to number 1 Georgia. LSU and Alabama, in my opinion, should be out. I mean, they're 2 lost teams, but the committee loves the SEC, and wants to bring in a second SEC team. So Alabama could theoretically, or LSU could, depending on who makes it into the SEC championship game, could knock off Georgia, and then we could have a conversation. But as of now, I think Georgia rolls, and not too worried about it. So that brings us down to USC and Clemson. So if I had to pick, I think Clemson is a weak team that's played weak competition, and they've been there before. I think in this scenario, USC would be a conference champion with one loss from the Pac-12 that has been on life support that we barely thought existed. They haven't been to a playoff in a very long time, if ever. I think maybe Oregon was their only representative. So I think USC has a shot, and I think that's the team that I would like to see in that 4 spot. And when you get to the playoffs, of course, it's going to be Georgia and Ohio State football. I enjoy watching basketball, cannot play it, not good at it. I am not a huge Formula One fan. We have a race that I've been to a couple times. It's on Belle Isle in Detroit, and that's always a fun part. It's the only time Belle Isle's clean enough to actually go down to. They spruce it up and clean up the trash, and it's really nice. Like, I enjoy it. It's a small island right off Detroit, so in the lake. But other than that, I just recently got into racing in general. I wouldn't say I'm a fan. I'm kind of on the fringe of it. I've been to a couple NASCAR events. I used to go to Daytona 500 in Florida because it was close to my birthday. It was a reason to escape the cold Michigan winter and go to Florida. So I used to do that. I actually was invited to take in a NASCAR race at MIS in Michigan, Brooklyn, Michigan, and that was a really cool experience. We sat in the infield in a nice box. It was really neat. But yeah, Formula One, it's never been, like, I respect it and I think it's really cool, but it's never been something that I've gotten into. So yeah, it might be IndyCar. Like, that's how much I don't know. Yeah. So I know they do some kind of open wheel racing at Belle Isle in Detroit. So, which, ironically, they are going to move to the city of Detroit. I have mixed feelings about that. So they want to. There's a couple different proposed paths of bringing it into the city of Detroit and not on Belle Isle. Of course, I think that's awesome because they'll probably clean it up and maybe redo some of the horrific, terrible roads because they don't want to run those cars on the shit roads of Michigan. But yeah, I don't know. It might be kind of cool. Might draw in some fans that haven't been there or watched in a long time. Change of venue type of deal. So I think that I do like the drag racing. Yeah. Yeah, it does do it, and especially here in Detroit, where it's a train wreck 85% of the time. So it makes it at least feasible. Yeah, and the finances that come into the city, which our city leaders will just embezzle, but that's politics, and I don't do politics. Or try not to. But yeah, so I do like drag racing. I think that's an awesome sport. The science and technology and engineering that goes into driving a car to its breaking point and then tearing it down and rebuilding it in between runs is pretty spectacular. But yeah, racing's never been my thing. Like I said, I got a little bit more into it after going to a race again this year, and I watched the championship. So drag racing is so cool. Like just the technology behind because again, I'm a nerd and an engineer nerd, so the technology that goes into the launch capabilities of the tires, the engines, how they have to literally be rebuilt every single time because they burn themselves out. The clutches that are only good for a second because they weld themselves together. It's all pretty insane. So, but yeah, totally got off track from where I was at. Yeah, so I have no idea where I was at. So we'll just pretend like I do. So that's where I was at. So I played in high school. I played multiple sports. I played baseball, which I enjoyed, but not enough to do anything with. I was a catcher in baseball. I played football as a defensive end, and then my primary sport was ice hockey, and I was a goaltender in ice hockey. Really enjoyed it. Played I played college hockey at Michigan State, so what is DRS? Am I missing something? I guess I don't know what DRS is. DRS, yeah. Anyways, I'm sure you'll tell me. So, I played. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. I mean, engineering and technology is so, like, it's so amazing, the little things that go into so much. So, but anyway, so yeah, I played college hockey. I was goaltender. I was hoping to go pro in that, and had an unfortunate knee injury, and I haven't skated much since. But still like to watch hockey. Still like to watch football, basketball, baseball. So that's kind of a little bit about me. If I had to pick a favorite, it would probably be college football at this point. So, but yeah, I pick up some of the fringe sports like the racing or the drag racing, or who hasn't been sitting there on a Sunday afternoon with nothing to do and watched ESPN cornhole tournaments, So, but so I got to a half an hour again, so that's good, and that's going to be kind of, like I said, my my thing, I'll try and go for a half an hour and then slowly extend that a little bit out further. So if you're new, hit like and subscribe, please. And I will see everyone again. Well, I'll see everybody on Aussie, but I'll see everyone again on my channel on Tuesday for news and fun. So everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Take care.